Okay, and we're on live. Thanks everyone for tuning in to SBC's first ever Leaders Webinar. This afternoon we have a special presentation by Kambi Chief Product Officer Mattias Eriksson, Commercial Officer Max Meltzer, speaking about unlocking the true capacity of bet builders. And as you all know, we now compete in a market that's reached kind of peak competition, where kind of industry incumbents have to utilize and harness all tools and functions available to meet market scale demands and customer instant engagement needs. The Kambi product team will detail how it's built its bet builder product beyond a static component into a value-added betting market proposition. So Kambi, please take it away.
Okay, thank you very much for that, and thank you for all that has joined today. Myself and Mattias will walk you through what we are currently doing and what we have achieved or hope to achieve with Bet Builder. So from my side, just to introduce myself, I'm Max Meltzer. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer of Kambi, and I want to start by just giving a very direct, brief overview of Kambi, particularly for those who perhaps aren't aware. And perhaps for those of you who are aware but just want a little bit more detail. So this is the agenda today. So Kambi, at a glance, we are a listed company on the Nasdaq Stockholm. We are a fully managed sportsbook solution from a B2B perspective. We have over 20 customers globally across multiple continents. Most recently, we announced the signing this week of Mohegan Sun in the US, which is where I am at the moment, where we signed with them for a free-to-play sportsbook, and then we'll go live on real money once we have the opportunity to do so when regulation occurs. And that's what we'd like to highlight in particular, is that we were the first to take a bet post-PASPA repeal in the US, and that was alongside our partners DraftKings. And why we highlight that in particular is not just because of the US and what we achieved there, but it's also because of our scalability from a technological perspective that has enabled us to do that. It's enabled us to be first to market in multiple instances where there are new regulatory opportunities that have opened up, and this for us is very important, and that is why it's so important along the way that we develop our technology, the way that our roadmap is put together, is all at the angle of remaining scalable and enabling people to differentiate themselves from anyone else. What reason why we took the post-PASPA bet is a lot to do with the integrity and corporate probity that we focus on, and we had a very close relationship and still do with the DG in New Jersey, but regulators across the world. So just a quick overview of Kambi in numbers. For those who like a bit of numbers, we are and have had odds transaction of 250 million per month. I'm not going to go through all of these, but you can read it for yourself. But they're impressive numbers that talk about our scale and the breadth of our offering. And for us, this is just a clear indication we are a business capable of supporting tier one operators wherever they are in the world, with a depth of offering to ensure that we can provide a high quality experience, and hence why we win awards such as the Global Gaming Awards recently, why we have 9 Kambi partners in the EGR Power 50 list, and that's why, and also in relation to our integrity and positioning, that's why we have several of our partners who are listed organizations who trust that their reputation will not be damaged in any way by the way that we operate in the markets we operate in. This is where we are at the moment. For those who aren't aware, this is the basis of our offices. Our development offices are primarily in Stockholm and Bucharest. Very highly talented teams and individuals in these locations, as well training and other offering and other services across the world, so we can provide a 24/7 experience and support for our partners. And the latest office is in Philadelphia, in the United States. So I hope that this gives you a good overview of who we are, and I'll pass you on to Mattias, talk about product development and bet builder in general.
All right, thanks, Max. Yeah, so my name is Mattias Eriksson. I'm the Chief Product Officer at Kambi. It's really nice to be able to speak to you today. So I thought I'd take you and show you a little bit about what we're putting in the market in terms of our bet builder. But I also wanted to take you a little bit behind the scenes of how we approached this challenge and how we developed our solution. And with Kambi and product development, this is really what it is all about for us. It is about collaboration between really talented people in multiple fields, from engineering to product management to design to analytics. And the Bet Builder product that I'm showing today is really the result of all the hard work that this team put in making sure that we delivered a great service. So we are not the first bet builder in the market, and therefore we challenge ourselves to try to figure out how to build the best bet builder product out there. That was a starting point, and a natural second starting point is then the end user. So we started looking at what was out there in the market. We sat down with players that were using the bet builder solution from our leading competitor, and also analyzed if we would be better off integrating a third-party bet builder solution into the Kambi proposition. So we sat down and we looked quite thoroughly into the third-party bet builders that were out there. Now, during that time, we found some unsolved problems. Think with the leading bet builders, the customer journey had specific weaknesses when it comes to adding selections and also placing bets. We could see from our user research and with users that they had difficulties figuring out and navigating the offering, and also a little bit difficulty in understanding the custom bet slip that's been built for Bet Builder. So we wanted to solve those problems, and to some extent that could be done with third-party solutions, but there were things with a third-party bet builders out there that we didn't think would work. First of all, there was no live betting component, which meant also that there was no cash out functionality. And we wanted to make sure that we had a bet builder that could cover that wasn't a letdown on in these areas. The second area really comes into the risk management side of things, which is so absolutely fundamental to running a sportsbook. We strive to have one view on the risk in our offering, and with a third-party bet builder, that was not something that was on offer. So we would basically have to separate risk management between Bet Builder and the rest of the Kambi Sportsbook, and we didn't want to do that. So we basically chose to try to solve both of these problems and pay a little bit when it came to time to market. So just a little slide on sort of what the bet placement flow for the leading bet builder was like. There is a challenge when you come into ad selections. What we noted was, for instance, that it was difficult to understand or navigate between odds. We saw a lot of users who would make selections, then go back into the main sportsbook to look up an odds, and when they came back, they had to start over from scratch. There was a syntax in the bet slip that was confusing to a lot of people. So even if we tested this on people who had used Bet Builder before, a lot of them had a challenge even to complete a bet. So we didn't want to make those trade-offs. We wanted a bet builder that was deeply integrated into the core of our sportsbook, that enabled us to control the UX better, to have a full risk management overview, and including not just pre-match but also live and cash out. And the other thing that we wanted to make sure was that our operators would have access to all of this functionality through their APIs, so that they could use our bet builder or build whatever UX that they wanted to. And we see some operators engaging in that as we speak. So what you end up with in doing a full integration is obviously a complete risk management overview. We have full control of the UX. In terms of offering, we're rolling the offering out gradually, both live and on pre-match. But we're hoping to catch up with the leaders when it comes to offering quite soon. And then obviously cash out is also an area of this product. I think I've said at some point that our bet builder is a little bit smarter and a lot faster, and this is just a way to try to show just how time efficient it is when you're trying to build a 2, 3, or 5 selection bet builder bet as compared to a lot of the competitors out there. The third-party solutions are generally a little bit faster than the ones that are built in-house, but it's quite a marked difference. Okay, so with that said, let's jump in and look at what the actual experience looks like. I'll take you through the implementation at Mr. Green. So this is the starting point of their sportsbook, their landing page. So going into Premier League, I was thinking that since Tottenham is playing their first game in their new arena, that might be a good bet. We're in the Tottenham Crystal Palace bet offer view. Bet builder is right there on the top. So going into bet builder, then in this case I'm going to go for Tottenham for full time. Obviously, you can then see that there are a number of selections that are not available to me anymore because they're redundant. So I'm interested in total goals. Now I won't be able to see the singles odds in this view, and this is one of the things where we noted that users would then go back out into the bet offer to look at what the odds for total goals were. So I can slide this across to see what the odds are for total goals. And when I go back, this is still the selections are still there, so I don't have to start over. So I think that we're going to go with 3.5 or over goals. We'll add corners. I think that probably the home team is going to dominate, so over 6.5 corners for the home team, and obviously then Crystal Palace are going to have over 2.5 cards. So there we have a 4-leg combination. Go into the bet slip. It's right there in the combination view. Now I'm so let's go ahead and place that bet. That's by potential payout. Since I'm in Stockholm, this is in kroner. But there we go. So there you have the main flow. And I'll take you over to just look quickly at the at what cash out will look like when we roll that out later this year. So it's not a custom bet slip. The cash out functionality works exactly the way that it does with the ordinary bet slip, and this is something that customers know and understand. We've tried to keep the bet flow as simple as possible when it comes to how this works as opposed to the full sports book. So that is the cash out feature coming up, and yeah, I think that concludes the demo part, and I think that we're happy to take your questions.
Whilst we wait for these questions, Mattias, I have to say it's very disappointing to see you bet against Crystal Palace. I have to say, as a season ticket holder.
Well, you know, it's so I have a first question coming in here from Ahti, and the question here is: does it have a separate bet slip, or can it be connected with an existing bookmaker bet slip? So this is the same bet slip that is integrated with all of our operators. It is 100% integrated with that bet slip. Let's see. Right. So another question here: any plans to launch this across other sports outside of football? Yes. We are obviously now excited to keep rolling out the football bet builder and that functionality, but what we've built basically is a platform. So there are other sports that where this is a highly interesting proposition. So for sure. Right. So another couple of questions. Main challenges. What are the main challenges from Philip with including in-play risk management in particular? Well, I think that in play with a third-party provider would have been really, really difficult, because that is obviously where it puts a lot more strain on the exactness of your models and understanding the probabilities. So it is challenging building these types of related or correlations, but being able to have a full view of the entire risk is absolutely crucial here. Got a question from Graham asking how many leagues will BetBuilder be offered for. It's roughly it's just over 20 leagues. These are the prime leagues for most European markets. So a question from George: do you have separate limits for regular bets and BetBuilder? We manage a coherent risk, so there aren't separate limits on BetBuilder. Dejan is asking what configuration should be managed from the bookmaker to make a BetBuilder available. Dejan, if you're working for one of our operators, please send me an email and we'll get you underway. Otherwise, there is a lot of control from an operator perspective in both managing settings, but also affecting the user experience and UI. Yeah, different product. How can operators change this product? This is fully supported through our APIs, so an operator can really do whatever he wants with it. I should also say that this is an in-play BetBuilder bet is not restricted to just the BetBuilder tab. If you happen to build a combinable combination in the main event view, that'll pass through just like a BetBuilder bet. So that's it. Let's see. Thanks for the questions, guys. Player markets, yes, there will be player markets rolled out during the other side of, or the later side of April. So that's coming. Question: is it possible to add multiple matches to the same bet slip in BetBuilder? Yes, that will be supported, not from day one, but that is how we're building the platform. Question from John: where do you see BetBuilder in the industry in a year's time? Is this the new cash out in terms of necessity and enhancing the user experience? Well, I think that seeing the effect that BetBuilder is having on operator turnover, certainly in pre-match, I think that this is going to be a very important tool to have in your toolbox if you're a sportsbook operator. I also think that there are multiple applications of building in-event combinations that is not just restricted to BetBuilder functionality. So I think that it's already proven itself in terms of how necessary it is. Let's see what else. So I have a question from Graham about managing load time on CPU for pricing these bet builder bets. Really good question. I'm not going to pretend like I can answer that, but the tech team has had a real focus on load time and speed from day one. So it's been built into the design. Is it in your plans to combine Bet Builder with regular bets from another event? George asks, and yes, that is in our plans. So Max, if you see anything that you think is we want to address, questions are pouring in. I'm really happy about that. Right, so I'll reiterate, Ross is asking about the benefits of building this into the core as opposed to attaching it. And a couple of things, control over the UX and one view on the total risk are the key benefits. I think that we also felt like we could build a product that supported both live and cash out. We had the capabilities, and that those features just weren't out there in the market. So those were definitely advantages. All right, so Connell is asking an interesting question here. Beyond wagering, can or should Bet Builder be used to enhance further bookmaker disciplines like retention, engagement, and marketing? I think the one area that's really interesting in engagement is prepackaged bet offers. They are highly marketable, especially if you have combine a correct score and a player market, for instance. So thanks for that question. That's a great question. I keep working my way through the questions here. Yeah, no, I think that we've covered most of the stuff here. So really happy about the questions, guys. And you know, if you want to dive deeper with us, then don't hesitate to reach out. We're happy to talk a lot more about this. But I think that the questions have stopped pouring in now. Yeah, I think that probably concludes the question and answer part.
Well, thank you, Max. Thank you, Mattias. A great presentation. And just to remind everyone that our next SBC webinar will be on, let me get the details up, will be on Monday, April 15th, where we're hosting a special conversation with gambling compliance on the US market. Thank you for tuning in, and bye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.